Ever feel like you're banging your head against the wall trying to get AI to do what you want?
Oh, yeah,
Like there's some kind of secret language you haven't quite cracked?
definitely.
Well, what if I told you that speaking the language is about to get a whole lot easier, no matter where you're from?
That's exactly the challenge we're tackling today.
Uh-huh.
We're going to dive deep into the world of effective AI prompting.
Okay.
And we're looking at it from two really interesting perspectives. First up, we've got the blueprint for LexiPrompt.
LexiPrompt.
Yeah, it's an application spec designed to make powerful prompting accessible to basically everyone. It has multilingual support, some smart tools built in.
Okay, interesting. And the second source.
That's Google's practical guide, Gemini for Google Workspace, Prompting 101.
Ah, okay. I've seen that.
Yeah, it's full of hands-on advice, real-world examples for getting the most out of their AI tools, like Gemini.
Gotcha. So what's the mission for us today?
Well, our goal is pretty simple. Give you the core knowledge, the practical examples you need to write better AI prompts, like right away.
A shortcut.
Kinda, yeah. We'll pull out the most useful bits from LexiPrompt's, innovative approach
Hmm.
and Google's user-tested advice.
Mm.
Give you a real advantage in mastering this pretty essential skill.
Okay, let's get into it then. LexiPrompt. Their big idea is making AI creativity and productivity truly global, right?
Mhm.
Especially for folks who don't speak English as a first language.
Precisely. Their core mission is really about tearing down those language barriers in AI interaction.
Hmm.
They believe everyone should be able to tap into the power of AI, whatever language they speak.
And they're starting with three main things, the MVP pillars.
That's right. 3 core pillars for their minimum viable product.
So let's start with the first one. How they handle crafting prompts if you're not using English.
Okay, so their first focus is on text-based prompting. Let's say you want an AI to generate a specific image. With LexiPrompt, the idea is you type your request in your own language, Spanish, French, Japanese, whatever.
And
Here's where it gets pretty clever. The platform translates it to English behind the scenes, but it doesn't just stop there.
no.
No, it feeds that translated text into a specialized prompt builder, one that's designed for the specific task. So maybe it's an image generation builder, or maybe it's for a more general LLM task.
Ah, so it's not just a simple direct translation. It's like it understands what I mean and then crafts a super optimized English prompt for the AI.
Exactly. That sounds like it can make a huge difference in the quality you get back.
Yeah, totally.
And then that optimized English prompt, it gets translated back into your original language.
Oh, cool. So I can see what it's actually asking the AI.
Yep. And you see it along with something they call LexiExplain.
LexiExplain.
Yeah, it gives you a brief explanation in your language of the key words and components in that English prompt, so you start to learn.
That sounds really valuable. It's like getting a peek under the hood, learning why a certain prompt works.
Right. Plus, they've got a Save Prompt button, so you can keep track of the prompts that really nail it for you.
Nice. And the examples they give, like an image generation builder versus a versatile LLM builder, that really shows how tailored these tools are meant to be.
Exactly.
Okay, let's talk about their second pillar then, LexiVision. That's about images being the starting point.
LexiVision, yeah. It's all about reverse image prompting. Image to prompt.
How does that work?
You upload an image, and LexiPrompt uses a sophisticated AI, they mentioned maybe something like Gemini 1.5 Pro, to really analyze it, deconstruct it.
Deconstruct.
Yeah, it breaks down the visual info and generates a text prompt that describes what it sees in the image.
So if I upload a picture of, I don't know, a cat riding a unicycle.
Yeah. LexiVision would try to put that scene into words.
Okay.
It might even categorize parts of the description, like subject.cat, action not riding unicycle, style.cartoon maybe.
Interesting. And what can you do with that description?
Well, you get the option to copy that generated text prompt.
Yeah.
And you could then refine it further, maybe even set it straight to their text-to-image builder if you want to create something similar but slightly different.
Oh, I see.
And of course, you can save deconstructed prompt too.
That's a really fascinating way to reverse engineer a visual idea. But it sounds like the AI doing all that image analysis must take a lot of computing power, right?
It absolutely does. And because of the costs tied to those powerful AI image analysis APIs,
Yeah.
LexiPrompt mentions they'll likely have stricter usage limits on LexiVision for their free users compared to their pro subscribers.
Makes sense.
They give an example, like maybe only 1 to 3 uses a month on the free plan, but maybe 15 to 30 for pro users, something like that.
Okay, so it's definitely a premium feature. Got it.
Yeah.
And the third core part of LexiPrompt is about education, the LexiLearn Hub.
Yes, exactly. The LexiLearn Hub. It's their platform for teaching users how to get better at prompting AI.
What kind of stuff will be in there?
They're planning articles, guides, basic ways to filter the info. The content will cover, the basics of using LexiPrompt itself, general AI prompting techniques,
Uh-huh.
and something really smart, simplified breakdowns of Google's own prompt engineering guide.
Oh, really?
Yeah, simplified, translated potentially, and with clear attribution back to Google, of course. And they'll also have an intro guide to LexiVision.
So they're not just giving you the tools, they're showing you how to use them effectively. And even kind of building on existing knowledge from a major player like Google. That's clever.
It is, yeah. And access to this learning stuff will also be tiered.
How so?
Some content will be free for everyone, but the full library will be for their pro users.
Okay.
And here's a nice little touch. Pro users who complete certain core articles can earn a LexiPrompt Pro Engineer badge. Adds a bit of a gamification, a learning journey feel.
That's a cool way to encourage learning and, recognize progress.
Yeah.
So what else is going on behind the scenes with LexiPrompt, the engine stuff?
Well, they've got the essentials planned out. A user account system, manage your profile, save prompts, that kind of thing.
Standard stuff.
Yep. A subscription system, handled through Stripe. For their free and pro tiers, they'll spell out the limitations and benefits of each.
Right.
And a basic referral link system, so users can share it.
Okay. And what about the user experience, how it looks and feels? They're aiming for something user-friendly, I assume.
Definitely. Their design principles are all about clarity, simplicity, and that core idea of being multilingual right from the start.
Makes sense.
They want to guide users, offer helpful tips and explanations right in the platform so it doesn't feel overwhelming.
Yeah.
Aiming for a design that's, appealing but also feels trustworthy.
Okay, so LexiPrompt is really focused on breaking down those language barriers, making prompting more accessible globally with tools and education. Got it.
Right.
Now let's switch gears. Let's look at Google's Prompting 101 guide. What's their fundamental take on writing effective prompts, specifically for Gemini and Workspace?
Google frames prompting as essentially starting a conversation with an AI assistant.
Like Gemini.
Exactly. Gemini, within their work-based apps, docs, sheets, etc., they emphasize that it's often an iterative process. You might not get exactly what you need on the first try.
Yeah, that sounds familiar.
And they've identified 4 key ingredients for a good prompt. Remember these: persona, task, context, and format.
Persona, task, context, format. Okay.
That's right. They give an example, something like, you are a program manager in specific industry. Draft an executive summary email to target person based on details about relevant program docs. Limited to bullet points.
Okay, I see how those 4 parts fit in there.
Yeah, and they highlight that while you don't always need all 4 every single time,
Uh-huh.
including relevant details in each of these areas really helps Gemini understand what you want much better. And a key takeaway here, always include a verb. Tell the AI what you want it to do.
That makes perfect sense. Give it a clear action. So Google also has some quick starter tips for using Gemini in Workspace. What are the big ones we should keep in mind?
Their advice is super practical. First, use natural language. Just write like you're talking to someone. Complete sentences, clear thoughts.
Don't need special codes or anything?
Nope. Second, be specific. And don't be afraid to iterate, to try again if the first result isn't right.
Okay.
Tell Gemini precisely what you need it to do. Summarize this, rewrite that, change the tone here, and give it as much relevant background info as you can. Think of it like giving really clear instructions to a very capable assistant.
All right. No vague requests. The more detail, the better the chance of getting something useful back.
Exactly. Third, keep your requests concise where possible and try to avoid overly complex language or, unnecessary jargon.
Super clear.
Fourth, remember it's a conversation. If the first result is kind of off, don't just give up. Refine your prompt. Ask follow-up questions. Steer the AI towards what you actually need.
Like having a little back and forth to fine-tune the output.
Precisely. Fifth, and this is really useful in Workspace, take advantage of your existing documents by using the @ symbol followed by the file name, like at my project plan, to bring that document's content into the context of your prompt.
Oh, wow. Okay. That allows for really personalized results then.
Hugely personalized and relevant outputs, yeah.
Oh.
And sixth, they suggest using Gemini Advanced, the paid tier, as a kind of prompt coach.
A prompt coach?
Yeah, you can literally start your prompt with make this a power prompt and then paste your draft prompt. Gemini Advanced will then give you suggestions on how to improve it.
Whoa, that's a really smart way to learn. Getting direct feedback from the AI itself on how to write better prompts, that's cool.
It is pretty neat. Now, Google also mentioned something interesting about prompt length.
Oh yeah, what about it?
They observed that the most successful prompts, the ones that really get good results, often average around 21 words,
21 words.
and they usually include relevant context. Interestingly, they found that people often start with much shorter prompts, typically less than 9 words.
Huh. So most people are maybe being too brief.
It suggests that investing just a little more effort in providing detail and background, getting closer to that 21-word mark with context, can significantly boost the quality of the AI's response.
So being concise is good, but don't sacrifice necessary context. Getting that balance right is key for useful results.
Exactly.
And finally, what's Google's take on what to do after the AI gives you something?
They strongly emphasize that you should always review any content generated by AI, checking for clarity, accuracy, and how well it actually fits your needs before you use it.
Right, don't just copy-paste blindly.
Definitely not. They remind us that while AI is a powerful helper, ultimately the responsibility for the final output lies with the human using the tool.
That's a really crucial point. AI is a tool to augment us, not replace our judgment. Okay, now, to make this really practical, the Google Guide is packed with examples for different jobs.
Yeah, it is.
Let's look at a few of these. How can these principles translate into real-world benefits for you, the listener?
Absolutely. These examples really bring it to life, show how versatile prompting can be across different professions. Let's start with, say, administrative support. Planning an off-site meeting.
Okay, a common task.
Right. Someone could prompt Gemini. Create a possible agenda for a 2-day off-site for 15 people. Include time for strategic planning and team building. Suggest 3 specific outdoor team building exercises.
And then maybe refine it.
Exactly. Maybe then ask it to format the final agenda as a table. It shows how prompting can really streamline that kind of planning.
Definitely a time saver. What about for people in communications, like PR?
For comms, imagine drafting a press release. A PR specialist could prompt Gemini right in Google Docs. Write a draft press release announcing our new partnership with Partner Company. Include quotes from our CEO and their CEO at link to background doc on partnership.
Ah, using the at mention.
Yes. It demonstrates how AI can quickly pull together key info from linked sources and draft important communications. Gets that first draft done fast.
Powerful stuff for synthesizing info. How can customer service teams use this?
Okay, customer service. A rep is dealing with a frustrated customer. Maybe their order was delayed.
Happens all the time.
They could prompt Gemini. Write a polite and empathetic email acknowledging the customer's frustration about the delay of order, #order number. Offer 2 potential solutions. This helps ensure customer interactions are consistent, helpful, and, importantly, empathetic.
Yeah, getting that empathetic tone right is key. What about executives? They often handle tricky communications.
Good example. Consider a COO preparing for a company town hall, maybe about a restructuring.
Oh, tough one.
They could use Gemini Advanced. Based on this internal memo at MemoLink, what are some challenging questions employees might ask?
Yeah.
For each question, suggest a concise, transparent answer. Helps leaders anticipate and prepare.
It's like having a sparring partner to prep for difficult conversations. Let's switch to a more creative field, like marketing.
Sure. A brand manager launching a new eco-friendly product line could prompt Gemini Advanced. Brainstorm 5 unique, memorable names for a new line of eco-friendly cleaning products. Also suggest 3 taglines highlighting sustainability and effectiveness. Great way to kickstart the creative brainstorming.
Nice. Okay, from creative to operational. Project management.
A project manager needs user acceptance tests, UATs, for a new website feature, say a Save Draft button.
Tedious but necessary.
They could prompt Gemini Advanced. Generate 10 UATs for the new Save Draft button on our platform. Cover scenarios like saving, reopening, autosave. Can significantly speed up writing those test cases.
Streamlining testing, yes please. What about sales teams? Researching clients.
But account executive prepping for a pitch. They could use Gemini Advanced. Summarize key info about client company from these 3 articles at Article 1 and Article 2 at Article 3. What are their main priorities and recent challenges? Quick, efficient background research.
Getting up to speed fast on a new account, hugely valuable. What about small business owners? There wear so many hats.
Absolutely. Imagine one trying to compare 2 vendor proposals, maybe for marketing.
Okay.
They could prompt Gemini in Docs. Compare and contrast the strategies at Proposal A and at Proposal B. Highlight strengths and weaknesses of each. Helps them make a more informed decision.
Making those critical decisions may be a little less overwhelming, and for The startup leaders,
Yeah.
the innovators.
A founder, after a brainstorming session, they could snap a photo of their whiteboard notes, upload it to Gemini Advanced,
Uh-huh.
prompt, transcribe these notes. Based on these ideas, suggest 3 potential next steps for product development. Helps turn those raw, messy ideas into actionable plans.
From whiteboard scribbles to concrete steps. Love it. And lastly, how about HR recruiters?
An HR recruiter could upload a job description to Gemini Advanced
Okay.
and prompt. Generate 15 open-ended interview questions to assess experience with specific skill mentioned in JD and problem-solving abilities. Helps refine the hiring process, identify better candidates.
Wow, these examples really paint a picture. It's clear how widely applicable these prompting skills are becoming.
Absolutely. Across so many different roles.
So, as we start to wrap up, let's distill it down. What are the key takeaways, the main principles for leveling up our prompt writing, based especially on that Google guide?
Okay, Google offers several really solid tips. First, if you have a complex task, try breaking it down. Ask the AI to do smaller pieces in separate prompts.
Makes sense. Don't ask for the world all at once.
Right. Second, provide constraints. Tell the AI how long you want the response or how many options to give you. Be specific about the limits.
Set boundaries, okay.
Third, try assigning a role or persona to the AI. Like act as an expert marketer. It can encourage more relevant, sometimes more creative responses.
It's a job title. Got it.
Fourth, don't be afraid to ask the AI for feedback on your prompt. Use that make this a power prompt trick, or just ask it how you could improve your question.
Meta prompting, okay.
Fifth, think about the tone you want. Formal, casual, optimistic. Tell the AI what tone to adopt.
Tone matters.
And finally, remember that prompting is often iterative. Keep refining, keep tweaking. Don't expect perfection on the first try. Work with the AI.
So it boils down to being clear, giving context, setting expectations, and being willing to have that little back and forth conversation with the AI.
Exactly. And as we've seen today, from LexiPrompt's vision for accessible, multilingual prompting to Google's very practical guidance, mastering this art of the prompt, it's becoming a super valuable skill for pretty much everyone.
Yeah, it's not just for prompt engineers anymore, is it?
Not at all.
And for you, listening, this really is a kind of shortcut, isn't it? A way to unlock the power of AI, boost your productivity, get new insights across the board.
Absolutely. So the real question is, how can you start using these principles right away in your own work, your own projects? Where could clearer communication with AI save you time or maybe spark some new ideas? Could that multilingual approach, like LexiPrompt is aiming for, help you or your team bridge some gaps?
Good questions to ponder.
Think about the examples we discussed today. Which ones resonated most with your interests, your professional needs? What's maybe one small change you can make to your very next interaction with an AI tool that you think might just have the biggest impact for you?